St. John's Episcopal Church of Chews Landing was formally organized on November 14, 1789. Regular church services had already begun to be held in various locations by the Reverend Levi Heath. Church minutes of this date show that the original designation of the church was the Church of England at the head of Timber Creek and places adjacent in the township of Gloucester. According to church minutes of August 12, 1790, the Protestant Episcopal Church, formerly known as the Church of England, was raised and was named by some of the contributors present St. John's, after our Lord's beloved disciple. This original church was built of red cedar on an acre of land donated by the heirs of the Wetherill family of Burlington. Subscribers to the first building fund either donated money, materials, or labor. Samuel Hillman donated 174 feet of cedar boards and the pulpit. Samuel Warwick hauled stone, and William Ellis made 2 seats. In 1789, Aaron Chew, an innkeeper of Chew's Tavern and former Gloucester County militiaman, lent his assistance to organize the church. He was appointed to a committee to manage construction of the original St. John's Episcopal Church in Chews Landing. By 1791, there was still not enough funds to erect the church. Aaron took matters in his own hands and traveled to Philadelphia, where the new United States Congress was in session. Having been a former prisoner of war and veteran, he was well received by other heroes and dignitaries of the American Revolution. Chew obtained donations from George Washington, James Madison, Elias Boudinot, Charles Carroll, William Patterson, George Reed, and William B. Giles. With these contributions and those of local citizens, Warwick, Hyder, Sickler, Hillman, Marshall, Fleming, Cheeseman, and Chew himself, enough funds were raised to build the church. The first 2.5-story cedar clapboard church served its congregation for nearly 100 years, but finally deteriorated beyond use. Beginning in 1880, St. John's present-day church was built in front of the original church. It was built of granite gneiss stone, quarried from Ridley Park, Pennsylvania, carried by local shipbuilder Edmund Brewer to a point on the old landing on Timber Creek. The construction's total cost was $5,000, including the value of Brewer's donation of stone. The newer church was designed by the noble architect George Watson Hewitt. Hewitt designed many churches, banks, the Elephant House and Restaurant at the Philadelphia Zoological Gardens, the Old Jefferson Memorial College, as well as many private residences. St. John's Episcopal Church is a good example of the then popular Victorian Gothic architecture of the time period. Hewitt adhered to the philosophy of the New York ecclesiological movement that had developed after the mid-19th century, which had broken away from rigid adherence to medieval Gothic architectural forms. In St. John's design, the American approach is seen. Churches should be first sound and proper structures. Ornate could follow. No church should be pretty. It should be simple or modest or dignified. Hewitt was an important 19th century architect designing in an eclectic period who adapted the Old English architectural principles for American preferences and needs. St. John's is a true amalgam for the tenets, history, and people of Chews Landing. St. John's Church is 30 feet by 60 feet in size, small by most standards. The 3 sections of the building are in Gothic style, including a vaulted ceiling with open beams. There are 11 rows of pews attached to the walls with a middle aisle only. It is oriented east-west, with the altar facing east. The rose window on the west wall is original and has a, quote, good bell in the belfry. While the church is small, the building is enhanced by its placement on a small hill with the old cemetery behind and to its side. Many founders of this church, including Lieutenant Aaron Chu, rest here, along with other pillars of the growing area of Gloucester Township. The minutes of St. John's show that the little burial ground is as important as the building itself. St. John's Episcopal Church continues to serve its congregation and the community today. The big little church on the hill.